If your March 2026 Social Security payment hasn't hit your bank account yet, or arrives less than what you were expecting, you are not alone, and this is not a mistake you should ignore. Right now, the SSA has rolled out a series of critical processing changes tied to new federal verification requirements, updated direct deposit authentication protocols, and revised eligibility reviews affecting millions of beneficiaries across the country. These aren't rumors. These are documented changes happening inside the Social Security Administration system. And most people won't hear about them until the money simply doesn't show up. Here's what makes this especially urgent. The SSA is not calling you. They are not sending warning letters in advance. The first sign something is wrong for many seniors is a missing deposit on payment day. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly who is at risk, what triggered these holds, what the SSA says you must do right now to protect your check, and the one phone number and online step that could save your March payment before the deadline closes. Stay with me, because what comes next could directly affect your income this month. So let's start from the very beginning, because if you want to understand why some seniors are going to miss their March 2026 Social Security check, you first have to understand what has been quietly changing inside the Social Security Administration over the past several months. This isn't something that happened overnight. This has been building, and the people who are going to get hurt the most are the ones who assumed everything was running on autopilot, because for years it was. You set up your direct deposit, you knew your payment date, and every month like clockwork, the money was there. But 2026 is operating under a completely different set of rules, and if nobody has sat down and explained that to you clearly, that is exactly what we're going to do right now. The SSA began rolling out new internal verification procedures late last year, and those procedures went into full effect at the start of 2026. What that means in plain language is that the agency is now cross-referencing beneficiary records against updated federal databases in a way they were not doing before. They are checking things like your current address on file, your banking information, your identification records, and in some cases, your citizenship and residency verification documents. Now, for most people, this process runs in the background and you never feel it. But for a significant number of beneficiaries, and we are talking potentially hundreds of thousands of people across the country, there is a mismatch somewhere in that data. And when the system finds a mismatch, it does not send you a friendly warning email. It flags your account, and in some cases, it places a hold on your payment until the issue is resolved. This is the part that catches people completely off guard. You could have been receiving Social Security benefits for 10 or 15 years without a single problem, and then one morning in March, you check your bank account and nothing is there. And you start to panic naturally, because this is your income. For millions of American seniors, Social Security isn't supplemental money. It is the money. It pays the rent, it covers the prescriptions, it puts food on the table. So when it doesn't show up, even one day late, that creates a real crisis in a real household. And the frustrating thing is that the SSA's phone lines become absolutely overwhelmed the moment payment dates pass without deposits clearing, which means getting a live human being on the phone to help you can take hours and sometimes an entire day. Now let's talk about the specific groups of people who are most at risk right now, because this is not affecting everyone equally. The first group is people who have recently moved and did not update their address with the Social Security Administration directly. A lot of people assume that because they updated their address with the post office or with their bank or even with Medicare, that the SSA automatically has their new information. That is not how it works. The SSA maintains its own separate records, and if your address on file with them does not match what is showing up in the federal verification sweep, your account can get flagged. It sounds like a small administrative detail, but it carries real consequences right now. The second group that is highly vulnerable is people who recently changed their bank account or switched financial institutions. This happens more than you'd think. A bank gets bought out, someone moves to a credit union, a family member helps set up a new account for convenience. Whatever the reason, if you changed your direct deposit information within the last 6 to 9 months, and that change was not properly confirmed by the SSA on their end, there is a real possibility that your March payment either gets delayed or gets sent to an account that is no longer active. When that happens, the funds don't just disappear, but recovering them takes time, paperwork, and patience that a lot of seniors simply cannot afford to spend when bills are already due. The third group includes people who have had any kind of identity-related issue recently. This could be something as serious as identity theft, and Social Security numbers are among the most targeted pieces of personal information in the country, or it could be something as seemingly minor as a name discrepancy. If your legal name changed due to marriage or divorce, and your Social Security records still reflect an old name that doesn't match your current banking records, that discrepancy can trigger a flag in the new verification system. The SSA is not doing this to be difficult. They are doing it because fraud against Social Security beneficiaries has increased dramatically, and they are trying to protect people. But the side effect is that legitimate beneficiaries are sometimes caught in the net, along with the bad actors. There is also a fourth group that a lot of people don't think about, and that is people who are receiving benefits on behalf of a spouse or dependent who has passed away, or whose circumstances have recently changed. The SSA has been conducting what they internally call eligibility reviews, which are essentially audits of certain beneficiary categories to make sure the payments being made are still going to the right people under the right circumstances. If you are a surviving spouse, or if you receive benefits based on someone else's work record, your account may be included in one of these reviews right now. And again, if the SSA sends you a notice about this review and that notice goes to an outdated address, you may never receive it, which means you may miss the deadline to respond, which can result in a payment being withheld. Let's talk for a minute about the direct deposit authentication issue specifically, because this is a newer development that has not gotten nearly enough attention. The SSA, working alongside the U.S. Treasury Department, has implemented what is called an enhanced bank account verification step. What this means is that when your payment is processed each month, the system now does a real-time check to confirm that the bank account on file is active, that it matches the name of the beneficiary, and that there are no fraud alerts or holds associated with that account. In the vast majority of cases, this check happens instantly, and the payment clears just like always. But in cases where the bank account has a discrepancy, even a minor one, like a middle initial that appears in one record but not another, the payment can be held pending manual review. And manual review inside a federal agency that is currently understaffed and processing millions of transactions does not happen overnight. Now, here is something really important that you need to understand about timing. Social Security payments in March 2026 are being distributed on a schedule that is based on your birth date, just as it always has been. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your payment comes on the second Wednesday of the month. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, your payment comes on the third Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your payment comes on the fourth Wednesday. This schedule has not changed. But what has changed is that the verification processing now happens in a window before the payment is released. And if your account gets flagged during that window, even on the day your payment is supposed to go out, the release can be delayed while the issue is reviewed. So just because your payment date hasn't arrived yet does not mean you're in the clear. It means you may still have time to get ahead of this. That brings us to what you should actually be doing right now, today, before your March payment date arrives. The single most important thing you can do is log in to your My Social Security account online at ssa.gov. If you do not have one of these accounts set up yet, this is the moment to do it, because your online account gives you direct visibility into your current payment status, your address on file, your direct deposit information, and any notices or flags that may be attached to your account. You do not need to wait for a letter in the mail. You do not need to sit on hold for 2 hours. You can see right now in real time what the SSA has on file for you and whether anything looks out of place. If you see that your address is outdated, you can update it directly through the portal. If your banking information needs to be changed, you can submit that update online as well, though keep in mind that direct deposit changes typically take 1 to 2 payment cycles to fully process, so acting quickly matters. If you are not comfortable using the internet or don't have easy access to a computer, the next best option is to visit your local Social Security office in person. Yes, the wait times can be frustrating, and yes, you should bring your ID, your Medicare card, and any recent correspondence from the SSA with you. But an in-person visit gives you the ability to have a real conversation with a real person who can look at your account on the spot and tell you exactly what is going on. That kind of direct confirmation is worth the trip, especially if you have any reason to believe your records might not be fully up to date. The SSA's main phone number is 1-800-772-1213, and they have TTY service available at 1-800-325-0778 for those who need it. The lines are open Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning to 7 in the evening. Calling early in the morning on a Tuesday or Wednesday tends to result in shorter wait times than calling on a Monday or on the day a payment was supposed to arrive and didn't. If you call and explain that you have concerns about your March payment processing, a representative can pull up your account and check the status while you are on the phone. They can also tell you if a notice was sent to your address and, if so, when it was mailed, which can help you figure out if something got lost in the mail. There is also something worth saying here about the people who help seniors manage their finances: adult children, caregivers, trusted friends. If you are watching this and you have a parent or grandparent who relies on Social Security, please take a few minutes this week to sit down with them and check that their SSA account information is current. This is not an overreaction. This is the kind of proactive step that takes 20 minutes now versus a very stressful scramble in March when the money isn't there and the phone lines are backed up for hours. You can be the person who made sure that didn't happen for someone you love, and that matters enormously. One more thing that deserves a clear explanation is what happens if your payment is delayed versus what happens if it is actually withheld. A delay means the payment is still coming, it's just been held up in processing, and in most cases it will arrive within 3 to 5 business days of your expected payment date. If it does not arrive within that window, that is when you need to contact the SSA directly and report a missing payment. Do not wait more than 5 business days past your scheduled date before making that call, because the sooner you report it, the faster the investigation and resolution process begins. A withheld payment is a more serious situation. It usually means the SSA has opened a review of your account and is waiting for something from you before they release the funds. This is exactly why checking your online account and your mail carefully in the weeks leading up to your payment date is so critical right now. If the SSA sent you a request for information or a notice of review and you missed it, responding to it immediately is the fastest path to getting your payment released. The bottom line here, and this is what every senior in America needs to hear clearly, is that the Social Security system is going through real significant operational changes in 2026. And those changes are creating gaps where some people are going to fall through if they are not paying attention. This is not about the government trying to take your benefits away. Your benefits are yours. You earned them. But the systems that process and deliver them are being updated. And during any period of system updates, human beings can get caught in the friction. The people who protect themselves are the ones who stay informed, check their records, and act before there is a problem rather than after. So please, before March gets here, take that step, log in, check your account, confirm your information is correct, and if something looks off, make the call, make the visit, make it happen. Because your March check is too important to leave to chance, and now you know exactly what to watch for and what to do about it.